We have reduced our energy consumption, electricity, by 20%. And in the last 5 years, we have succeeded in reducing water use at the ministry by 1/3, 32% were reduced. And we would like, part of the certificate is also to introduce more activities by our embassies in the fields of sustainability, SDGs, climate change, and everything which comes under the umbrella of global agenda. Another area which is an area of importance for us is the introduction of climate innovation from Israel. You know that Israel really is one of the leading countries in the world in the field of climate innovation. And I want to share with you a few of the examples, and this is part of really of our daily work, because we see innovations and technologies as key to the solutions of climate change and for a better and more sustainable world. So one of the fields is agriculture. All of you are familiar with drip irrigation coming from Israel, but this is not only drip irrigation, it is also precise agriculture. It is agriculture in arid areas or semi-arid areas. It is agriculture that can produce more in less for a more and more ever hungrier world, a world which is more and more stressed by food security. And there are over 500 or even more companies, startups in the ecosystem only of agriculture and irrigation in Israel. Another area which Israel is really a leader in the world is water. I mean, we recycle about 90% of our sewage water. Our wastewater almost entirely today is recycled and reused for agriculture. 50% of the agriculture growing in Israel is by reused water. This is a world record, and we wish that everyone else in the world will hold the same record and will come to 100%, because water is a huge source for greenhouse gases emissions, and we have to reduce and to have better capacities of using water. Another area of excellences in Israel is desalination. Already more than half of our drinking water is coming from desalination from the sea. Another area is the prevention of leakage of water in urbanic water systems. In Israel, it's only a few percent is lost. Elsewhere in the world, it can come to 50%, 30%, etc. This is a loss of energy, a production of unnecessary greenhouse gases, etc., etc. So there is a lot to do in that regard. Just want to show you a picture here of distribution of filtration systems of water that Israel is distributed in Mozambique after it was hit by a huge cyclone in 2019. What you can see is really brilliant, because these machines not only are operated by hand, the filters, the blue things that you can see inside, are used the Aliza machine filter. So we reuse them again, and it requests very little maintenance. And such a machine can provide water for hundreds of people per day. Another area which is extremely interesting is renewable energies, and we can see here a few of the examples. We can see electronic road. The vehicles riding on the green land will be charged by the road itself. This is under development in Israel. On the other side, you can see energy storage by compressed air. This is really extremely important. I do not have words to describe how this is important, because the major obstacle today in using renewable energy is storage, and we can use here by this company Egwind tanks that are stored underground, and they use compressed air. When there is sun or wind, it is used to compress the air and put it underground, and during night time the air is released and creates energy. Another topic is the creation of energy from sea wave. We can see here another Israeli innovative company called EcoWave, which creates energy from sea waves. Another area of excellence in Israel is reforestation or forestation in arid or semi-arid areas in the world. And this is extremely important because today countries around the world are engaged in reforestation projects in billions of trees, Just a year and something or 2 years ago, Ethiopia planted 452 million trees in one day. This was world record. We know that we must have more forests, and when the climate is worsening and getting drier, there is a need for Israeli expertise as well. Another area which is very important is alternative proteins, which is very well developed in Israel. Actually, we are among the 3 most advanced countries in the field of developing cultivated meat. There are startups, research institutions, etc., and we know that this is extremely important because if we do not supply the world with alternative protein, it will come from livestock, and livestock destroys or takes the place of forests and ecological systems. And I want to introduce to you Mashav. Mashav, again, is our international aid agency already working in the field of technology transfers in dozens of years, whether it's agriculture, water, environment, research and development, etc., etc. Last but not least, the Abraham Accords with our neighbors in the region have opened for us opportunities for regional cooperation to cooperate more also in fields like environment, agriculture, food security, water, renewable energies, and we see already developments in these fields. So this is my part, and I want to deliver the virtual podium to Aliza. Please, Aliza.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's nice to see you all, and thank you for finding the time, to spend the time and to dedicate your, patience to listen to what we have to say on this very important issue of global agenda. I got, this assignment, I think something like 3 months ago, in my normal capacity. Let's say traditional capacity. I'm Deputy Director General on African Affairs for the last half a year. Before that, I was ambassador to France and Monaco, and before that, I was really posted most of my career in Europe, although I started in Africa. So now I kind of closed the circle, getting back to Africa. So 3 months ago, I was called to the Director General's office. And I was told that the issue of global agenda becomes more and more central and important with regard to the occupation of this ministry. And there is a need to create a task force, kind of a team, a special team, that I have to build, and I have to choose the people, from different departments who do sometimes different things on their daily work, and to deal with what is called global agenda. And I have to come up also with ideas, of course, what I think, what I can do in this regard. So the aim, actually, of this team that I'm very happy that Gideon is part of, and most of the different ambassadors who deal with the global agenda issues are also part of my team, is to position Israel as a key player on the scene of global agenda issues. That is, Israel already is known. I mean, the startup nation image, which of course is not only an image, it's a very true definition. And Israel's added value in terms of different technologies that Gideon was kind enough to mention is known throughout the world. This is not something new. But there was, the feeling that we have to collect all these things, and also the issues that are not falling directly under the daily work of the designed ambassadors, and to promote Israel's position in the international arena as a key player on subjects that have to do with the global agenda, with the SDGs principles, so that when people think about global agenda issues, they will think about Israel. Not only about, traditional things that immediately one connects with Israel. Although, like I say, Startup Nation is already something that is very well anchored with regard to Israel's image. So this is one aim of this task force, to position Israel as a key player in the arena of global agenda issues. Secondly, we would like also, through dealing with these issues, to promote Israeli technologies and know-how, which we do in any case by different departments at the ministry, and with a strong cooperation, of course, with other ministries and with the companies throughout the world. But we also, as a team, we deal also with this aspect of how we can promote Israeli technologies, Israeli economy, via technologies who give actually answers to problems that prevail today in the world regarding climate change, regarding water shortages, regarding desertification, regarding disabled people, and all the other 17 principles of the SDGs. And of course, another aim that we have as a team is to further anchor the importance of these agenda issues, not only in the ministries, but also with regard to the Israeli society at large, the different ministries, the NGOs, to increase our cooperation internally to promote the way Israel deals with the SDGs principles. Now, I was thinking, okay, what can I do for the first step? Because this is an ongoing process, and it's a task that will stay with us for quite a long time. It's not something that you do, as part of your working program, annual working program, and you leave it. And I was thinking that let's do something special to launch, the ministry's engagement and involvement, of course, with the blessing of the foreign minister and the director general, because they are the ones who actually decided to strengthen the dealing of our ministry with global agenda issues, and to organize a very kind of wow event that will connect the embassies, and through the embassies, their contacts throughout the world, with our ministry, because it's going to take place tomorrow. Part of it is virtual, part of it is live, with a proper, coverage, so that the awareness and the attention to what this ministry is going to be very much engaged with will get a stronger, let's say, attention. So I was writing to all our embassies and missions around the world. We have 106, I think. And seven, right. There's a new one. Right. Yeah. And we provided them, a certain toolbox of events that they can consider, giving them a free hand, to do whatever they find proper and suitable. That has, of course, to do with the International Day, Earth Day, that falls tomorrow, and film their activities. Some of them will actually do it on live, tomorrow at 6 o'clock. This is when our event here at the ministry will take place. You're most welcome to connect. We will send you, if you don't have the link, so that you can see what I'm talking about tomorrow. And they will film their activities. They started already yesterday, I think, and it continues today, and it will continue tomorrow. Send us what they're doing. We will show it, on screens. Together, we will present it to people who will connect via Zoom and Facebook and other digital means from everywhere. And in addition to that, we addressed ourselves to a few dignitaries who are famous in this field, and who are famous, not necessarily in this field, but who are famous, so that they can also send their blessing to Israel, to the foreign ministry, for organizing this event. In addition to that, we organized a virtual exhibition that deals with Israeli technologies. We have about 15 companies that will be presented for, 10 minutes or so, but those who are more interested can always go in and visit the exhibition and inform themselves, in a more broad way. But this exhibition shows some of the companies that we found interesting in terms of giving solutions to problems that really exist all over the world. So one of them, I don't know if you can mention, one of them is dealing with getting water out of air, for instance. It's very relevant for countries who suffer from water shortages and can actually draw water from air. There are companies who deal with storage of energy, companies who deal with artificial meat, and not vegetarian meat, but Israel is a leader in producing meat in laboratory. And people who tasted it, there was a very interesting program on TV I saw a month ago. They were asked to say, which is the real meat. They were given two kinds of meat. One that came from the cow, and the other one who was produced in a laboratory. And people could not tell the difference, which is amazing because it really helps. Shortages of meat or food, in terms of food security, it's a very important development. In addition to that, there are companies who deal with recycling, companies who deal, even I think with fashion, how you can recycle clothes, how you can build houses, how you can use concrete that is environment friendly. And this is, the idea of the companies that are going to be presented. So I was very happy to see that there was really a very nice response because 81, I think, projects out of 107 missions is not bad. It's not easy, given the fact that, don't forget, we're facing now difficult times with the COVID-19. It's not always so easy to go out and to recruit, local publics and to engage them in all kinds of activities that they were organizing. But they managed to do it, and it shows that they really took it very seriously. And at the end of the day, they really understand the importance of, dealing with these issues. Because at the end of the day, it has to do with our lives, ours and our children's and, the future generations. And it's not just a slogan. It's not just, a banality. It's true. It's true. The world is changing. The climate is changing. It influences all of us, not, in the right direction. And we have to face it. We have to find solutions to challenges, to problems that are getting bigger and bigger, more and more difficult as time goes by. And I was very happy to see that they really showed a lot of imagination and creativity with regard to the projects they decided to implement. So it's a lot of planting trees, it's recycling. I think it's the embassy or the consulate in China, one of them, that has a project with the chain, a cafe chain in China, where they will recycle and they will promote ideas how to reuse cups, for instance. One of the missions was organizing a fashion parade with clothes and materials that can be recycled. And of course, what is important is that, of course, in all these projects, it's not something that the embassy is doing only itself for the staff. They go out and they clean something, which is important in itself. But no, they engage the local public, be it civil society, be it mayors, be it politicians, in this endeavor. So it's really a nice thing that brings together Israel, in the world, with the local publics in the countries, respective countries where they work. And some of them are cooperating with the Emirates, with Morocco, with countries that, let's say a year ago, if somebody would tell me, look, there's going to be a common project with the Emirates somewhere in the world, I would say, okay. As long as we can talk behind closed doors, it's okay. But publicly, it won't happen. Well, it happens. And this is, again, because of the Abraham Accords that Ambassador Behar was mentioning before. We came to times when, cooperating with our neighbors, which were not such a long time ago, let's say, well, I don't want to say enemies, but the relations with them were not like the relations we have with normal countries. Today, it's normal. Today, it's natural to cooperate, and we do it together. I mean, just for example, at the UN, they're going to organize a conference with the Moroccan ambassador. Unfortunately, it's 2 hours after our event tomorrow at 6 o'clock, so we'll not be able to broadcast it, but it's going to happen. And this is an additional and added value to the bilateral, to the multilateral political relations that Israel has with different countries in the world, including countries that are newcomers to this group. So basically, this is in general, the project that we are organizing tomorrow. It will last 1 hour. After 1 hour, there will be panels for those who want to go, deeper into the different subjects. And I do hope that we'll be able to cover it, because it's important, of course, to make it public and to show everywhere what we're doing, because it's very important for us. And we're doing it because we think that the foreign ministry has to deal with these issues in a very intensive way. Not that we didn't deal with them before. We did. I mean, in France, we organized conferences on water, on gender, disabled. We did it. But now it's going to be in a more structured way, in a more organized way, better coordinated maybe way, so that the effect is more significant. And this is my responsibility. I hope that I will not disappoint. And it's the first step. Then we have to think, how we continue. Because like I said, it's an ongoing task for the next years and beyond. Thank you very much for listening.